I found myself having a real kick trying out new indie titles that have been coming out for the past year. There are so many games to even count with my fingers to even bring up. Games like Inscription, that twisted strategy with a very eerie and dark story that gave you the chills every time you did a run. To games like Stray with its beautiful scenery, very unique and stunning scenery. To Cult of the Lamb, taking dungeon crawling and Animal Crossing and forming it into a game that I could get lost into for hours and hours and hours and hours on end, just taking care of my little cult, organizing my village. And then we got a game this year, a game that blew me away, hearing the uplifting sound of the ukulele, breathtaking visuals, and gameplay that just looked very smooth and full of life. Sorry about that. I'm talking about Tchia, and this is my review for one of the games that took me away. Welcome everybody, my name is nicktana. Here we talk about everything and all gaming, from gameplays, reviews, to let's plays. If you like this type of content, man, I'm not going to take up too much of your guys' time. Just hit me with a sub, leave a like, comment, all that stuff. It does help out a lot. Give me a shot. Well, back to the Tchia review. Tchia is a game developed and published by a small indie game studio called Awasib. Funded in 2016 by two childhood friends, they thrive in making soulful, poetic games that want you to be fully immersed into the beautiful world of the games they put out. Tchia is an open world game about a girl named Tchia. Obviously, with the name being in the title, a little girl from New Caledonia. She is on the hunt to find her father that got taken away from her from one of the evilest presences on the island. One of the servants for Mivoria, who is the evil god who has stolen the throne and holds children and anyone her henchmen steal. In order to find and save your dad, you have to explore the various parts of New Caledonia, meeting new friends, exotic creatures, a strange masked person, and whatever these things are. You will also need to sail, glide, climb, swim, while using Tchia's special power to transform into certain things and animals that are on the island to save your father and to put a stop to Malvoria's reign against destruction. I think Tchia did a very good job with the story. It's very straightforward. They basically just, the main concept is you as Tchia are just gonna go looking for your father, and doing so you have to do certain quests and find certain things on the island to basically do so. And while doing so, you learn more about your past, learn about things you got to do to help save your father, and meeting some new friends along the way. I think they did a very good job of sticking to the point. Exploration is one of the many treats in this game that you could tell the team put a lot of effort in. There are countless things to search for in the game that can make the game experience for you better and to upgrade Tchia herself, such as totem sculptings, braiding trinkets, finding stamina fruit to increase your stamina, diving in the clear blue seas to grab a pearl, soul fruit to increase your soul meter to seamlessly soul jump from place to place to place, point of views which will unlock various points of interest to find more stuff on your map, campfires to change your outfits, have a meal, play a song on your trusty ukulele. Sometimes I think this game has way too many collectibles, to be honest, and a lot of times you really don't get rewarded for finding this stuff. But I do like that if you do want to research and do searching on the island to find said items, they give you that opportunity. You could spend up to 20 hours in this game just literally searching for any cosmetics or any consumable in the wild, because there's plenty. But I beat the game myself personally with doing a little bit of hunting, but I didn't really go out of my way or go to certain parts of the map to find said items. So take that with a grain of salt. Way too much stuff on the island. It just can be a drag to go out and find all of it. And to also touch on a small thing that I did said, the food in this game looks absolutely amazing. One of the things I think the studio did for this game is they made the food so good. They wanted to advertise this food, so you take a visit to this island or something, because they made this food look absolutely delicious. They all had names to them, and every time you were at a different food stand or a campfire, it always switched up the food items, which attention to detail that I saw was very cool. The waters look so clear and beautiful. The islands were full of plenty of trees, full of coconuts, bananas, and other amazing fruits. Each village on each island had its own personality too, which makes it amazing to search from end to end. The soul jumping mechanic is basically like the Mario Odyssey mechanic, where you're jumping from item to item, and it's the first time I've seen it in a while since Mario Odyssey, so it did take me by surprise by this. Tchia has a special power that requires her to turn into certain objects and animals and take control of them for a certain period of time based on your soul meter, which you can upgrade throughout the game by doing totem sculpting and completing various challenges. Soul jumping is one of the main mechanics of the game. It's something I use personally to get across the map, transform into birds to fly across the map and to get to the hard reach areas, and most importantly, a chicken with its head cut off to produce eggs. Okay, I wanted to put this out here because this is a part of a quest line. I had to look up on YouTube how to do this because it said collect a brown egg, and I'm like, oh, Bro, there is no eggs on this island. You have to literally transform into a chicken with its head cut off and produce an egg, lay an egg. So you guys are welcome for helping you progress through your Tchia game. When I say you can soul jump into anything, the possibilities are endless. I turned into coconuts, piles of trash that look like the Saints star receiver Michael Thomas, and a favorite of mine, the lizard, because that thing can move. Even though it is pointless, the lizard was pretty cool to transform into. That's my guy. You could also use your soul jumping skills to MLG 360 no scope trick shot into other things in the game to get you to your destinations faster, a system I personally thought was flawless and really hit the nail on the head. I know a lot of people said that they were having crashes and bugs with the soul meter and the soul jumping, but I played it on my PS5 and I personally didn't have any problems with that whatsoever. I was seamlessly able to jump into certain items and certain animals if I was a specific distance away from them. I've listened to a few reviews and a few people did say that, so but I think they put out a day 1 patch. Personally, I didn't have any problems with it. A lot of people said they have, but I haven't. So I loved it. I loved the mechanic. I loved being able to transfer from animal to animal, bird to bird, being able to soul throw yourself across the map to get from destination from faster to faster, because the fast travel in this game is absolutely terrible, which I will kind of touch on at the end of this at the end of the review, but I would rather do that than the fast travel. They made it just kind of pointless to even have fast travel in the game. One thing I noticed during a lot of my playthroughs is the accessibility for this game. Personally, something that's not talked about a lot, Tchia added features in this game that can benefit each user in more ways than not. For example, in a lot of the games, Tchia will play ukulele, where you have to hit the notes that correlate that pop up on screen and finish the song completely. While I recommend you finish the songs because they are very, very good and very flattering when you hit the combos that you hit, you could actually skip or not play at all to focus on the song and kick back and relax. So if you really don't like that rhythm-based game where you have to hit the notes and move your analog around to hit certain beats, they don't judge you based on score, but if you really just want to sit back and see the scene that's going on, or if you just don't feel like doing that type of stuff, they give you a reason to skip it. And I feel like this is the first time I've seen it in a game in a while. Games like Hi-Fi Rush, they made you complete every single song and they made sure you hit certain beats, and that you would be punished if you didn't hit certain notes. Think of like Guitar Hero. You had to hit the notes or you'd be punished if you didn't. And they never gave you a chance to just sit back and enjoy the song. It's like, nah, you're gonna play the song. So one thing, if people aren't into that, go ahead and skip it. They also added this feature in for the gameplay part of Tchia as well. If you get stuck on a certain part that you can't beat, or you're only playing Tchia for its amazing story, go for it. Would I do it? No. Personally, if you're gonna buy a video game, play it for the video game, but at the same time, it's there if you don't want to do it. Some people could just sit back and enjoy the lovely world of Tchia and the story it's trying to tell, which rightfully so, because the story is a huge highlight for me, so I have to give it extra points for this review. Getting into a quick negative though, one of the things I dread in this game and that I will not miss is its combat. The combat in this game is absolutely terrible. The main creatures you have to fight in this are the fabric creatures called Mono. These Mono have individual camps that you have to take down and destroy, which is absolutely terrible. I'm not gonna spoil anything, but just know if you do play this game and you make it to the very end, you want to rip your hair out, you want to rip your eyeballs out, you want to rip your it's bad. You just want to rip everything out. It's so bad. It's so hard to do. And I personally don't understand why they went this route with Tchia. Personally, when I say you could soul jump into everything, I'm talking birds, whales, dolphins, coconuts, cages, literally anything, boards. But like, why not put a knife in the game and let Tchia transform into a knife and start cutting some fools up? I know they probably wanted to keep it like E for everyone. Come on, like, is it any better than just setting mana on fire? Because that's the only way to defeat these enemies. Personally, I feel like you should just be able to find like sharp things on the island and just go to work with that. I don't want to go through and set on fire 32 mana. You know how long it took for me to put out 32 mana? It took forever. It was terrible. Downright bad. Because you can clearly see in this cutscene, get it? Cutscene, because she's cutting it up. The cutscene. Tchia turns into a sword and chops at one of the bad guys with rage and actually injures him. Seeing that, I thought in my head, like, oh, sweet. You can find weapons or sharp items on the ground to fight in the game. And I was wrong. We all could agree watching this review that would have been badass, right? Let me know in the comments below. Maybe even if you could have defeated them with a slingshot, give me something else. Another thing that kind of sucked for me was the fast traveling. Like I said in the earlier of the review, it's bad. The only way that you can fast travel is by going to individual docks and only fast traveling to other docks in the game. Which, okay, it's not the worst thing in the world. For how big the island is and where you gotta go to get to certain docks that are always on the corner and at the edge of maps, it's time consuming and it's draining. Because you literally are forcing yourself to go to each dock to teleport to another dock. Like, let me teleport or let me fast travel to certain islands. Wouldn't that make more sense than just fast traveling to the docks? And nothing against the riding of the ship in this game. I like it. It's not the worst thing ever. But it is very, very hard to control. They made it to where you have to switch between steering and speed and anchoring. And a lot of times I just ended up crashing up on shore. A lot of times I ended up not being able to turn because I was going too fast. And then you're washed up on the island. Then you got to get off the boat. Then you got to push it off. And then it's like, bro, this game was very good story-wise for me. I liked the story. I liked what they were trying to do. The world is just very beautiful for me. If I could give one thing that they did absolutely perfect to me was the visuals and being able to explore on the islands and the different things, but everything else was just average or below average to me. And it's weird though, because I really did enjoy the game and I had a good time playing it. I didn't stream this game at all. I literally played it on my couch the whole time and offline grinding, and it still felt good to play. And I never had any problems, but it's just with certain things like the whole fast traveling. Like, let me just be able to fast travel into certain villages and wherever I want, not from dock to dock. And then getting all the docks was just a pain in itself. I just really could care less about it. Back to a positive though, I will say before I kind of end this review that the positive about this game is I feel like they keep it very real too. I'm not going to spoil any story, but it definitely goes in a direction you wouldn't think it would, because it's not all rainbows and sunshine in this game. It shows true problems that happen, and if you look at the inner lining of what they're trying to do and how they're trying to explain this game as well, you kind of get an appreciation of the island. Overall, I really honor and I really appreciate a small indie title, a small indie studio with these two childhood friends putting out this game. To be honest, I think it did highlight and it did touch very good stuff about the island, and that's one of my favorite things to enjoy. Gameplay and other stuff, it's not the best, but they did a very good job. And then it's just like a little bit of things that I just wish they would have did a little bit better. But the main highlight of this game is that they highlighted the island and they made it so beautiful, and you could tell that they put in a lot of passion and love that they had for Setso Island that really shined in this game, and what really made it stick out to other games. I'm telling you guys right now, like I said in the beginning of the review, indie titles have just been my favorite. Like, they're very well-rounded games, and it's a little bit different than what you'll get from a AAA studio. If I had to give it a final score, I'd give it 8 limes out of 10. Not perfect, but at the same time, I think the story held me up enough, and the vibes of the game had very fun moments to where I was just like, this is good. This is good. This is nice. I'm glad I'm done with it because I won't play it again because I'm not finding all those collectibles. Thank you guys for watching my Tchia review, man. If you guys want to see another review, I'm going to pop it up somewhere on the screen. I'm a bad YouTuber, so I don't know which way it will pop up. If you guys want to check out my main channel, make sure you guys click right here and make sure you guys sub and all that stuff. I'm out. I got to go play more games, get to the bread, get to the money, be safe, tell someone you love them, and I'll catch you guys next review.